we are going to move on now to talk about EA's conference call that came out this week. EA stock took the largest drop in more than a decade after the earnings call this week because they didn't hit their revenue expectations, their guidance, or whatever they can call it.
Yeah.
It was something like 1.3 billion that they expected to make in the quarter, and they only made 1.2 billion, so it wasn't enough hundreds of millions
Dirty
for
peasants.
them. So everyone was like, oh shit, dumped a load of stock.
So
it's like, really? I know you're making shitloads of money here. Do you really need to make all the money?
Yeah, we're only making shitloads, but we want to make absolute shitloads, you know? Like, come on.
During the call, CEO Andrew Wilson outlined the reason why EA hadn't achieved the revenue forecast, and the blame was mainly attributed to the disappointing sales of Battlefield 5. And he gave his excuses, or reasons, as he likes to call them, why the game failed to meet those expectations. He said, first off, the game was delayed a month from October the 19th to November 20th, like that was a reason. They moved the game back to get away from Call of Duty, right?
Yeah.
So he's saying that this is a contributing factor why it didn't do so well. You know, if you'd released on October 19th, you might have done significantly worse there, Andrew. That's your arse you're talking out of there, dude.
Yep.
The other decision that they made which contributed to the bad sales of Battlefield 5 was prioritizing single-player content over Battlefield 5's still unreleased Battle Royale mode. So the decision they made as a company was, we're not going to get everything made in time for the release date, so what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the single-player content and not the Battle Royale mode. Instead of doing what any reasonable other corporation or company would do, is delaying it until the new year. Oh, EA cannot do that. They can't do that. They can't physically do that because they've got shareholders to appease, and they need to hit targets.
Yeah.
And this is where creativity and gameplay and just like good games are just thrown by the wayside. All they're interested in is money, and that was the decision. He's not saying that though, is he? He's saying that, because we focused on single player game. He's talking absolute trash, and anybody with any ounce of critical thinking can see that. He says the reason the game was delayed was to prioritize the single player content. They didn't even have the single player content at launch. It came 2 weeks later. It came in January, in early December. So what the are you talking about there, Mr. Andrew? And also he says the delayed launch pushed the game deeper into a competitive holiday window where heavy price discounting was a big factor. Away from Call of Duty, which has only worked in your favor, how can you say that Black Friday deals affected the sales of your game? So you're saying everyone else who wanted to buy Battlefield 5 didn't because they were buying Shadow of the Tomb Raider or wherever it was.
Yeah.
That's bullshit, dude. Your game sucked and it wasn't feature complete. As a result of these decisions, we struggled to gain momentum and we did not meet our sales expectations for the quarter. It's not those decisions, dude. It's forcing games to be released in a certain window in order to meet sales targets. It's the fact that 4-player co-op mode called Combined Arms was missing at launch. The game wasn't complete. Firestorm, which is Battle Royale, coming out in March, that isn't even in the fucking game yet.
Still not there.
3 major components for the game weren't in it at launch, even though you pushed it back a month. It wasn't anything to do with other games on discount, and it wasn't anything to do with you prioritizing a mode that wasn't even in the game at launch.
Yeah, but Black Ops 4 did really well, and they didn't have single player, and they did have Battle Royale, so that's why we lost, because we had single player and didn't have Battle Royale.
It's just excuses. And anybody with any sense can see and smell the shit a mile off. Battlefield 5 sold 7.3 million copies, putting it 1 million units below the company's expectations. 7.3 million copies in anybody's book other than EA is a huge success.
Maybe you can start meeting your expectations if you lower your expectations.
Well, that doesn't make all the money though, does it?
True.
Andrew Wilson described Q3 revenue, saying, "We did not perform to our expectations." I guess he knows how we feel now because they haven't met our expectations in fucking years, have they? BioWare have gone on record stating that the Anthem public demo exceeded our expectations. What the fuck were they expecting? A fucking dumpster fire or something. What their expectations were incredibly low in that case.
I was expecting a game to run,
to work,
to not boot me back to the beginning.
At least expect the fucking demo to work, but no, that's not even an expectation for BioWare apparently. And this is the fucking worst, man. This epitomizes what is wrong with EA and the AAA industry. Andrew Wilson actually said this about the Anthem demo. People realizing it is a game that's unlike any other game they've ever played.
Where do you get that from?
Who in the right minds who's played this game thinks it's like unlike any other game we've ever played? Who said that to him? He's talking to the wrong fucking people, or he's making that shit up because he's a head of a corporate entity who needs this type of hyperbole in the press in order to get investors back on the side. This is again another example of corporate Bullshit, Andrew. Nobody's buying it. It's just like Destiny. Everyone says it's like Destiny. There's no way. It's unlike any other game they've ever played. It's not genre defying. It's just another games as a service type of game. People are going to get bored with after they reach like the level cap, which is something like 25 or 30 or whatever. They're going to get bored with, and it's going to be like, where's the end game content? Exactly the same that happened with the Destiny franchise. I don't know who eats this shit up, but I tell you, Andrew, it's not me.
You can't write this stuff.
It's just the dishonesty. It's the complete dishonesty. And we've just talked about the Outer Worlds, right? And one of the notable things about Tim Kaine and Leonard Boyarsky is how honest and upfront they are about it, saying that we can't have character romances in the game because we're limited by this and that. And we'd love to do a sequel. There's these honest points that they're coming out, and they're being completely honest with and refreshing with the communities. And they're not being hyperbolic and saying, oh, this game is the best game you're ever going to play. This is going to be a genre-defying thing. They're not like upselling it, or they're not like trying to bloat it out of proportion, which is the big problem with these big core AAA games. It's coming out of fucking Andrew Wilson's mouth. He doesn't understand the communities if he thinks that saying shit like this is going to do anything but destroy the reputation of the game at launch, because people are going to be expecting way too much.
And how did Tim and Leonard respond when asked about microtransactions? They said, hell no. Hell no.
That's the difference between actual game development industry right now and just corporate game development, which is two complete different things, motherfucker. This video is an extract from our weekly podcast. To get our weekly podcast early, head over to patreon.com/prettygoodgaming. See you next time.